Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Mighty Matt podcast. I'm your host, Matt Sterling. I'm very excited. This is my first taping, and my first guest is a good friend of mine. I want to introduce Mr. Fred Nelson. Fred, how you doing?
I'm fantastic, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've never done this stuff before, so I'm just looking forward to trying it out.
I am honored to be your guinea pig.
One of the reasons I started this was I started to get annoyed with the negative connotation of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And as I think about that, and particularly as I think about inclusion, you were one of the first people to include me when I started at Time Magazine. And I want to show you something and see if this rings a bell.
It sure does.
So that, my friends, is a special issue of Time Magazine that Fred had sold to our AT&T client. And if you worked at Time Magazine, to have a framed cover on your wall was a sign that you'd worked on something very cool. And Fred had already sold this. I had just started that month, but Fred had included me and put me on the cover and in the magazine and had this framed, and it hung on my wall for years. But anyway, that was my first kind of experience of Fred including me in things. I was curious though, Fred, when you were at Time, well, first of all, what are you doing right now?
Yeah, so I left New York after being here for 23 years. I left New York and moved back to Kansas City, which is my hometown, and wrapped it up in January and decided I wanted to move back to New York. So I'm back in NYC. And
one of the other things I wanted to ask you, Fred, I kind of have a clear memory of the first time I remember you and kind of connecting, which was at the copy machine. Do you remember that?
Was there a misfeeding of the copy machine at the time?
There was a misfed.
The Time Magazine copy machine would jam all the time, or if you put
Yes.
it incorrectly, it would have this little, digital word came up that said misfed, like you misfed the paper into the machine. And of course, it always made me think of the Kool and the Gang song Misled. So every time it would pop up, I'd say misfed, which was
That's exactly right.
So
and I'm going to paint the picture for people that don't understand what Time Magazine was like in the early 90s. It was basically a bunch of old white guys and older ladies. And it was great. It was a great environment. But, at that point, I was only 25, and I'm wearing a Brooks Brothers suit, wondering what the hell's going on. And then here's this guy singing Misfed. And I'm like, finally, there's somebody here I can relate to. And, sort of in that same vein, when you came to Time Inc., because you came from Chicago, right?
Correct.
And so what was it like just starting and dealing with that kind of uber corporate environment?
Well, my first job out of college was at Leo Burnett, an ad agency in Chicago. Yep. And so, that was my first big corporate experience, but it was an ad agency. So it had a kind of a, grooviness to it, a lot of creative people,
sure.
A lot of diversity. And then I went into advertising sales. And my first ad sales job was at Esquire magazine. And then I ended up meeting a guy who's both of our hero, Jack Hare. And
yep.
He was the regional vice president for Time Inc. in Chicago, covering all the. He offered me a job to come work for him, doing corporate marketing, working with all.
He set the pace or set the tone for inclusion, is kind of my point.
100%.
And it came from the top down. Time Inc. was a very, whatever the publisher did or said, set the tone for the entire organization. And I feel like that's one of the things we share, is that Jack had really endorsed both of us, different types of employees for Time beyond the white guy playing golf set.
You were 25. I was 29 when I started at Time. So Jack was my boss in Chicago, and then they did a corporate restructuring, and they made him the publisher of Time Magazine and moved him to New York.
Yep.
And shortly thereafter, he called and said, "Hey, you want to come work for me again? I'm doing ad sales at Time in New York." And I talked to a bunch of people at the company who who the kind of common refrain was, until you've worked for Time, People, or Sports Illustrated, one of the big
Yep.
weeklies in New York City, you haven't worked for Time Inc. So I was
Yep.
like, fine, I'll do it. And I was not one of those people that had the dream to move to New York City. I'd been going there a lot on business. I did love it, but it wasn't like my end game ever.
Sure.
But when that came up and the chance to keep working for Jack, I jumped at it. And
Yep.
yeah, and that's
And as you got into those jobs where you were responsible for hiring and motivating, can you talk a little bit about how you view inclusion and sort of celebrating diversity?
sure. So first of all, as you kind of alluded to, me moving to Time Magazine in New York wasn't great. I'll be honest with you. So Jack was my direct boss in Chicago, and then when I moved to New York, I reported somebody to somebody who reported to somebody who reported to Jack. So
Yep.
I had a direct line to the big boss, and the in between folks didn't always love that, and I was sort of perceived as being like Jack's guy. I think I was kind of forced on them. They probably didn't want to hire me.
Sure.
And then, not to be arrogant about it, but the proof was in the pudding. Again, sold
Yes.
what's called a 53rd issue, because there's 52 issues of Time Magazine. We sold a
Yep.
special issue where one advertiser bought all the ads. It's a big kind of career-making thing.
Yep.
And the best part was I got to work with you on it. But
Sure.
in spite of things like that and doing quite well there, I don't know that I was very well liked, quite honestly. It wasn't a great environment for me.
Yeah, I would totally agree in that I think before I worked with you on, the special issue, and then Jack pulled me in on other special issue projects, I was not seen on the same level as everybody else. As you said, the proof's in the pudding, meaning, hey, we're delivering the goods, you're selling things, I'm putting together packages, and, we found our success. What would you say? I say that when you went to Entertainment Weekly and kind of ran the marketing team there, it seemed like you kind of gave them a boost in the arm because your whole crew at that point was really energetic and pulling together. And it seemed like predominantly because you were a great guy to work with, which you are.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, my whole management philosophy is kind of the golden rule of do unto others as you would have them do unto
Yeah.
you. And so my manager at Time was the opposite of what I think a good manager should be. So you kind of can learn from those scenarios.
Yeah.
But, my big thing is hire great people when that's an opportunity, and or the ones you inherit, empower them to do what they do best and kind of find their strengths and help them down that path and create a work environment. I mean, one of the most interesting things I was ever told career-wise was I also worked for another great boss named Randy Jones, both at Esquire magazine and Worth magazine.
Sure.
And he said to me, he's like, look, and it was the 90s, but he's like, look, I see my colleagues more than I see my wife and children. Like, it's 5 days a week, and we worked long hours back then, still do. And that really resonated with me. And he said, so I'm only, now when he was the big boss, he's like, I'm only going to surround myself with people that are really good at what they do, but also who I'd want to hang out with all day, right?
Absolutely.
So that really resonated with me, and it became very important to me. So the combination of surrounding yourself with people who you enjoy their company, obviously they have to be good at their jobs, but you want to be with people that make you laugh. And we weren't curing cancer; we were selling ad space and marketing magazines. So that should be inherently fun, and especially at a place like Entertainment Weekly that celebrates pop culture. It was an extraordinary team. I was really lucky, and we had a blast.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with all those things more. I'll tell this story 8 million times, but I remember when I made the transition from marketing to sales, and I was concerned about my disability getting in the way of making a sale because a lot of people react differently to somebody in a wheelchair. And I remember Jack looking me right in the eye and saying, Sterling, some people's personalities are their disabilities. You're going to be just fine. And it kind of opened up my whole world. And that's him, right? So just a warmness, So I think that's great because what I kind of want people to get out of this is something, because there's been so much negativity about DEI and how to manage all types of people and bringing people together. I think that's one of the reasons I want to showcase other disabled people that are doing incredible things, but also people like you that have really made a difference in my life. And I'd want to take a moment just to say thank you. Over the years, you've been such a pal, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, right back at you, my friend. And I mean, Matt, like what Jack said is so spot on. And you happen to be in a wheelchair, but you're the funniest person I know. You've got the best personality. You're crazy smart. Like it's a no-brainer. Who wouldn't want to hang out with you?
Oh, geez, that means so much to me, Fred. You're the best. Make as many jokes as you used to. One of the other things that I wanted to talk to you about. I was in the car the other day with my son, picking him up from school, and Alanis Morissette came up on the radio, and I had to tell him the story about you inviting me to see her at Tramps, and I sat on the stage. I think it was her U.S. debut, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Jagged Little Pill had been released
Yes.
and became this huge phenomenon, but they'd already booked her concert tour into really small venues because I don't think
Yeah.
anyone had any idea how she would explode. So it was the hottest ticket in town. As you recall, I was dating someone who worked at Spin Magazine who did a
Yep.
cover story on Alanis, who you then befriended, and he was able to get us tickets to this the most sought after concert at the time. And it was it at Tramps? I'm trying to remember the name of the club. Was it Tramps?
Whatever the hottest club in New York.
Yeah.
Like
It doesn't
physically
exist
hot.
anymore. Yeah, yes, and that was when I first, I think the first time I learned that being in a wheelchair might have some advantages once in a while, because the seas parted and security whisked you right up to
Yes.
the general admission, and you whisked you right up to the front and basically sat you on the stage. You were on a speaker.
I was sitting right on the stage, yeah.
And so, as your friend and your ticket holder mate, I got to tag along and have that incredible experience with you.
Yes, that was one amazing night. All right, well, now, Fred, I want to get into one of your specialties, which is pop culture trivia. Are you ready for a little quiz?
Okay, you know that I pride myself on this. And,
Of course.
That said, I'm terrified that I won't know the answer, but okay, let's do it.
Now, we're going to make it easy, and then there is one that, if you get it, I'm going to be very impressed,
Okay.
because I just dug it out of YouTube. Here we go. Who was the fourth Charlie's Angel?
Okay, well, the original three, the actress or the character?
Both.
Okay, so the original three are, of course, Farrah Fawcett as Jill Monroe, Jacqueline
Yes.
Smith as Kelly Garrett, and Kate Jackson as Sabrina Duncan. When Farrah left the show after season 1, the replacement angel was Cheryl Ladd as Chris Monroe, who was Farrah's character's sister.
Yes.
And then, of course, later we had Shelley Hack as Tiffany Wells, and then Tanya Roberts as Julie Rogers, the street smart angel from the final season.
That's
But yes, so
it.
the answer, I'm sorry, I digress. The answer is Cheryl Ladd as Chris Monroe.
That is perfect. Okay, now, this is a three-part question related to the Brady Bunch.
Okay, bring it.
What was the name of the morning variety show where Alice discovered the Brady Bunch kids were performing?
The name of the show where they sang Sunshine Day or Keep, oh my God, I don't think I know that. Can you give me a clue, a hint?
It's a name, and it's blank blank amateur hour.
Oh, it's the name of the host, the dude who did
Yep.
it. The da-da-da amateur hour. I'm failing you already, my friend. I can't come up with it.
That was the awful one that I dug out. Pete Stern.
Pete Stern?
Yes.
I mean, gun to my head, I wouldn't have been able to come up with that.
No, that's what I
I tip my hat
But
to
what
you.
song did they sing? You know that.
Okay, well, it was either Sunshine Day or the moving along in the makeshift Model TA or shoot. Can I get a clue on this one too?
No, you got close. Keep on moving.
Keep on. Yeah. Okay. Keep on moving.
Yeah, you got it. And then what was the name of their band? It wasn't the Brady Bunch Kids. It was the
Silver platters.
Bingo. You're killing this.
Well, because the reason they had to go on was to make the money to pay for the engraving of the silver platter they got for their parents' anniversary. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Thank God I got one.
Well, okay, now, what disco queen starred on or guest starred on Hawaii Five-O?
Oh, Yvonne Elliman. So they did it. So they did when disco was huge in the late '70s. Everybody hopped on board, including TV shows, and did like very special episodes featuring discos, whatever. Hawaii Five-O did it the best, and they actually cleared their music and got Yvonne Elliman. So it was a great soundtrack, and they nailed it. Yvonne
Yes,
Elliman
the reason I asked that one, Fred,
on the
is
50%. Yeah.
The reason I asked that question is I texted you in the middle of the night once. Did you know Yvonne Elliman was on? And you're like, Hawaii Five-O and all the other details.
Like, duh, yeah. And she played Mary Magdalene in Jesus Christ Superstar and sang I Don't Know How to Love Him and had a top 40 hit with that, as did Helen Reddy. But that's another story.
That is a lot of Yvonne Elliman data. Okay, only two more. This is kind of an odd one. Who was the voiceover for the Super Friends cartoon and was also on Mary Tyler Moore?
Wow. So wait, which Super Friend?
No, the voiceover. The Super Friends.
Oh. Well, the way you just said it, it sounds like Ted Knight.
That's bingo.
I feel like you gave me a clue. Okay.
That's all right. We're all having fun here.
Indeed.
All right, now this is the final one. On the hit show MASH, Klinger was from Toledo, Ohio, close to where I was born.
Exactly.
What was the mascot of his hometown baseball team?
Oh, I feel like I know this.
You do know it, I'm sure.
And they were the man.
It's a type of bird.
The Toledo. How many syllables?
A two.
Toledo Ravens, the Toledo Robins, the Toledo. I don't know, Matt. You're killing me.
It is the Toledo Mud Hen.
Mud Hens. Yes,
Mud Hens.
Of course, that's what it was. Damn.
Dude, you still are a champ. Now, the final question before I let you go, and I really do appreciate all this, is if you were cloned, okay? So there were two of you in front of me. What question would I ask to determine it was the real Fred Nelson?
I think you just asked them, but if it's Charlie's Angel trivia, you would know immediately.
That's right.
Or 70s shampoo jingles. Okay, let me think of what it would be. Well, you know what? So from you, it would have to be something that we shared. Okay, it would be what movie, Oscar-nominated movie, did we see in the late 90s where there was like a line around the block? And we got in, once again, because you're in a wheelchair, we got in first and got to have the best seats in the house, and we loved the movie so much it hurts our feelings.
Now I'm going to space. It wasn't Fargo, was it?
No, much more family-friendly than that.
Let's see. Early 90s, family-friendly.
Late 90s.
I'm spacing. Late 90s. Yeah, you got me this time.
It featured a talking pig.
Oh, I'm a Babe?
Babe! Don't you remember seeing Babe together? And if memory serves...
we may have had some drinks beforehand.
Well, exactly. And sadly, it was like, an afternoon movie.
That's hilarious. Yes,
if memory
Babe.
serves, the movie is just pure joy. And if memory serves, in the screening, like some 9-year-old boy in the middle of the movie just screamed out, "I love this movie!" And the whole audience cracked up. And we're like, oh my God.
It was Roger Ebert's grandson.
Exactly how we feel.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm happy that both of our memories are fading.
Yeah, of course. Now, no more memory questions. Who is the most interesting celebrity you've ever met?
So I've been really fortunate to meet a lot of, fortunate for me because I love movies and music and TV and books and things.
Sure.
And between my decade at Entertainment Weekly and my decade as the president of the People's Choice Awards, I've met a lot of stars.
Yeah, that's right.
But by far, my favorite was meeting Will Shortz, the editor of the New York Times crossword puzzle.
Nice. Nice.
It was at the Sundance Film Festival, and there was a documentary about the crossword, and he was there. And I was at a party that was filled with like huge movie stars, and
Sure.
who I am fine talking with, and with him I got tongue tied and like
That's awesome.
that was my favorite celebrity that I've ever interacted with. Yes, my favorite. So two of my favorites are that the woman with the best reputation in Hollywood, who's like the nicest human on earth, who like knows every crew member and is so wonderful,
Yep.
is Sandra Bullock, and I love that.
Oh, cool.
You want that to be true. And then
Nice.
the other person who isn't working as much now, but is one of my faves, never met her, but she also has the best reputation in Hollywood, is Heather Locklear. And I love that
nice.
because she always plays like kind of like bitchy,
Right.
women.
Yeah.
But in real life, she's like a pussycat, and that makes me so happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Fred, I have to be honest. Of my friends, you, sir, are the mightiest. And I
You are the
really
mightiest.
I appreciate you taking the time. So thank you so much, Fred. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and work out the kinks and have me back.
Will do.
All right, Maddie.
I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I hope you'll click like and subscribe so you can meet the mighty.